What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Gotham Season 3, Episode 11, Beware the Green-Eyed Monster. Because jealousy and stuff like that. Also, Alice touches blood. So yeah, I mean, really, really good episode all around, because each story actually hit kind of their climax point in this episode. Even the Penguin Enigma stuff, which really hasn't been interesting to me, it's been kind of boring of the three stories. It's finally reached a point that it feels like it's at the climax, and I honestly didn't think they were going to reach that in this episode. So let's talk about that one first, because it is the shortest of the three stories. We've got Barbara shows up to Enigma and tells him that Penguin's the one responsible because he loves him, and that's why he killed Kristen to get to him. And so it's pretty much, it's just one scene where Enigma tricks him into admitting that, and that's when he realizes he did have a motive and he did have the opportunity. And so at the end of this episode, the really interesting part is Enigma goes to Barbara with Tabitha and Butch in the same room and says, I want to destroy Penguin. And honestly, this is the part that I've kind of been waiting for, because ultimately the build-up to the story has been very boring. It's been, like I've said before, it was just kind of a high school drama type episode where all we're really focusing on is, oh my gosh, he likes him, and oh my gosh, he likes her, and he's jealous of him now, and blah, 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 blah. The jealousy aspect, it's funny because the other part of this episode also deals with jealousy, the Mario and Jim. But the difference is that jealousy was fueled by Alice Tetris' blood, which makes him even crazier and stronger and killing. This one has just, it's felt so dragged out. Like we have one episode where Penguin realizes he has feelings for him, and then the next one, he is figuring out, should I tell him, should I not tell him? And then the next episode, Enigma finds Kristen, and then the next episode, Kristen dies, and it just feels like it could have been a few episodes long, where we find out Penguin likes Enigma, Enigma finds Kristen in the same episode, and then the next episode, Kristen gets killed by Penguin, and Enigma's trying to figure out who did it, and finds out Butch did it, and the next episode, he's torturing Butch, realizes Penguin did it, and then we could have been here. That's 3 episodes, but they've stretched it out over 5 or 6 episodes, and that's my biggest problem. It was stretched out way too long. It wasn't interesting enough of a story to keep this long of a running time. So I'm glad we finally reached the point now where this is where the story was headed. We're getting to the point where Enigma finds out it's Penguin. Now what's going to happen? He's going to hit back hard. He wants to destroy him, not just kill him. So that's interesting to see how they're going to do that. And it sounds like he's just sort of going to work from within Penguin's operation and take him down as mayor. And Barbara apparently she wants to take over the crime underworld after it's all over, along with the help of Enigma, Tabitha, and Butch. So the other interesting part about this is I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Tabitha and Edward, because he did just cut off her hand, and she's not very accepting of his apology. So we'll see what happens there. That might be some interesting interaction for the next few episodes. But then, of course, the other storyline going on, we've got Bruce and Selina's storyline. They find the Court of Owls place where they have the safe. They find out about the 2 people from that group that really wasn't that important. Like, I don't know. It was like the group was introduced just so they could get killed off by the Court of Owls. That's pretty much what happened. The third guy in the group of 3 that we met, he shows up and says, look, the other 2 have been killed. And so they go to the building, and then that guy gets killed the night before they decide to raid the building. And so it's just Bruce, Selina, and Alfred. And so they get in there, and they have this pretty cool little scene where Bruce shoots a rope across all the lasers, and Selina has to walk across it. And I'm just like, that looks real. It looks like she's actually doing this. And I doubt that, I don't know, maybe the girl playing Selina, maybe she really is kind of a gymnast and able to do all this, but I highly doubt that a normal person would be able to do this. So I don't know. I was looking, are there any strings she's holding on to? Is this CGI? What is this? It looks very real. So I thought that was a cool little scene. Ultimately, they get it open, and it looks like there's some sort of, it's an owl, but I'm not sure what it's made out of, and I'm curious to see what that's going to be exactly. But as they're leaving, you see that the guy with the mask on, he's been following them, and he shows up. Alfred starts fighting him, and at first I was kind of like, what are they going to do with this? Because it was kind of, I don't know, the camera work that they had going made it look like somebody might get stabbed and possibly killed here. And I'm like, okay, so far they haven't really taken a chance like this. So is this going to be the moment where they finally take a chance and kill somebody important off? Ultimately, no. Alfred fights him for a little bit. Bruce steps in to save Alfred, and then, doesn't really do much except distract him for a second. Selena steps in to try to save Alfred, and that sort of only distracts him for a second. And so he's about to kill him, and all of a sudden somebody comes in, grabs a vase, and hits him in the back of the head, which gives Alfred the opportunity to have him use his little Assassin's Creed blade into his own chin. And so at first I'm just like, wait, was that Ivy? And then she pulls off the hat, and I'm just like, no, it's not her. And all of a sudden I just started thinking, what if that's Selena's mom? And then Selena's face gave it away. She just like stared at her for a second like, what the hell? I'm just like, holy crap, Selena's mom. That's interesting. So yeah, we get to meet Selena's mom for the first time. I'm curious to see how she's going to play into this story, just because we haven't really heard much about Selena's parents. We don't really know much about them. She may have mentioned them here and there talking to Bruce in the past, but ultimately I wasn't even aware that her parents even existed. I thought they had died when she was young or something like that. I didn't really expect them to show up in the show. So it's interesting to see. It's also interesting that she just happened to be following them and showed up perfectly at the right time. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I'm curious just to see her story as well. So a lot of mystery surrounding the Bruce and Selena storyline right now. Just what's going on with the Court of Owls, they're very mysterious. What's going on with Selena's mom, that's very mysterious. The people that were trying to fight back against the Court of Owls, are they all done, or is there still more of them? That's another mystery. So yeah, a lot of good, interesting stuff going on there. And then, of course, the big one, pretty much the main focus of the show, because let's be honest, Gotham is about Jim Gordon. So we see, after finding out that Mario has Alcatech's blood in him last episode, we start to realize that Mario is apparently wanting to hurt Jim in any way he can. And so he kills the doctor by crushing his skull in, and gets his ID card to go to the lab that's testing Alcatech's blood. Jim shows up as he's there, and he beats him up, writes on his hand, go to Arkham. So he goes to Arkham, Jervis Tech is there, and let me tell you, this by far, I don't know why, but watching the guy playing Jervis Tech in this episode, it was perfect. It was spot on perfect. All of this, like, everything he said, the tone with which he said it, his facial expressions, the reactions to everything, it's the Mad Hatter. I talked about before, like, you could see the crazy side of him, but that you could also see, like, the calmer side of him, because he is a hypnotist as well. This one, I mean, the voice was just spot on. I don't know what he changed in this episode, but for some reason, like, it was good before. This was perfect. Like, I was listening to it, and I'm just like, this is exactly what I expect to hear. I don't know, it was awesome. And of course, Jim tricks him in an awesome way as well. Tricks, he may have let it go on purpose, but he starts like rhyming, and that causes Jervis to rhyme as well and give out more information. And you have to wonder, did Jim actually trick him into do that, knowing that he was going to do that, or did Jervis give up the information because it's all part of the plan? Who knows? But ultimately, Jim falls for it. He goes to see Mario, acts like the jealous lover, and has him arrested, has him tested for the blood. He passes the test, and so Jim goes to see Lee, and ultimately you can see what the plan is, like, from the outside. I'm looking in, I'm just like, yeah, Mario's plan is to have him locate Lee at the wedding, admit that he loves her, so she'll turn him down, and that's the plan. I can see it. Why can't Jim see it? I don't know. He seems smarter than that to me. And who knows what's going on with him, but for right now, I'm kind of like, what's going on, Jim? Like, are you really that blinded by love of Lee that you couldn't see through the plan. You couldn't see that clearly he's baiting you. He's trying to get you to go tell Lee exactly how you feel about her, so that way she'll turn you down and now you'll be hurting him even more. That's all part of his plan. Like, how can you not see this? So, I don't know. That pretty much goes exactly how you expect it. He tells Lee, look, he's infected. She says, I don't believe you, because she really has no reason to, and he is acting kind of crazy. And ultimately, she marries Mario. Jim gets beat up by Falcone's guys. And ultimately, Lucius does find out that there's enough evidence in Mario's blood to say he may have been able to fake the test. So it's enough for Harvey to search his house, find out, yes, he does have Alice Tetch's blood, all that stuff. So Jim goes to see Falcone and asks him where they are. He says, he realizes now that the reason that his son was being targeted was because he has Alice Tetch's blood. So he's going to send his men to go get Lee and Mario at the cabin. Jim says, no, send me. He's like, I trust my men. Jim shoots both of his men in the knees, and he's like, is there anybody else you trust to send? I'm just like, Jim, you're kind of crazy right now. And so he tells him, okay, but bring him in alive. And so Jim gets there. He's coming at Lee with the knife because she told him, I still care for him, but I married you. And so he's about to kill her, and Jim shows up, shoots him twice, kills him. That's how it ends. There's a lot of problems there. Like, that's the thing. I was wondering how it was going to end. I was wondering, what are they going to do to end this? It could be, they could decide to go really intense. They could decide to end it on maybe Lee gets stabbed or something. To end it like this, first of all, Jim broke his promise to Carmine, which means Carmine's probably going to be pissed and probably come after him. 2, Lee didn't see him coming at her with a knife. Like, even if they are able to prove that he has Alice Tetch's blood, like, that still may not be enough to sway her that Jim was in the right here. Because all she sees is Jim just shot her husband and he had a knife. So what? He could have been bringing a knife for something else. That can all be explained away. And ultimately, I have to wonder if this is just something that sort of popped into my mind after that scene happened. Watching Jim react to some of these situations, fighting Falcone's men that are trying to escort him out, trying to stop the wedding, making these irrational decisions. What if he's infected? Like, what if when he went to go stop, like, what's his face, Mario, what if when he went to go stop him at the lab, what if he injected him with some of Alice's blood? Like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me. What if he's infected? That may not be it. It may just be that, because love, because nobody thinks rationally with love. Even Jim, who's a hardened cop, even he's an idiot when it comes to love. I would hate if they went that storyline, because honestly, it's so overdone. Oh, you were just in love, so you were blinded by it. Shut up. Seen it done before. I think it would be much more interesting if we came to find out he's been infected by the blood, and that's why he's a little bit more irrational. That's why he's jumping to conclusions so easily. That's why whenever he has the chance to just show up and stop Mario, he just shoots him and kills him. That's why whenever the men are leading him out, even though he has no chance, there are 2 men, and there's obviously, if he starts a fight, somebody else is going to show up. He still starts the fight anyway because his mind is infected, and he can't think straight because the rage is building inside of him. And everything that he said to Lee, confessing his love, all of that is clearly exactly, he even says it before he confesses his love. He says, this is what Mario wanted. He wanted me to come here and, make you hate me. And then he just starts saying, I love you. I've loved you ever since I left, and blah, 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 and just starts confessing his love. I'm like, dude, you just found out that Mario wanted you to do all of this, and you're still going to... Are you crazy? Are you stupid? Like, I don't know why he would decide to do that unless his mind isn't right now. That would be interesting. So I have to wonder if that's where they're going with this. Maybe not. Maybe they're all just going to... It's just going to be, oh, love made you do stupid things. If so, I would probably hate that story, but we'll see what they're going to do with it. Right now, I'm loving all of the three storylines, though, where they're headed. I love the fact that Nigma is about to start taking it to Penguin with the help of Barbara, Tabitha, and Butch. And of course, Penguin still has all of his power, so it's not going to be, it's going to be a pretty fair battle. It's not going to be like, oh, just because it's 4-on-1. No, Penguin has an army behind him, so it's not going to be very easy. It's interesting to see these two, supervillains pretty much going at it, trying to destroy each other in the process. And of course, Bruce and Selena's mom now, the Court of Owls, all of that's the mysterious part of the show, the mystery part of it. And then the stuff with Jim and Lee is very entertaining, very intense, and I don't know where it's going to go next, but I'm excited to see. So let me know what you guys think of the episode down below. What do you like and dislike about it? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Gotham reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.